suppose let's get started this morning here. Oh. Hello. Alright. So far this morning, not seen anything super good here. I took a few trades on my other trading platform, and I am down like $25. So, not great, not a great start to the morning here. We've had a few things that have popped up, but similar to what we saw, yesterday and last week, there was just absolutely zero staying power to anything. So I would say I'm not super. I don't have super high hopes for today, but we'll keep watching. We'll see if anything happens. So NEPT just popped up, but similar thing. It's a lower price stock. Popped up from $1.70 up to $1.90, and has pulled back the entire move at this point. Fairly light volume here for something with 100 million share float. This volume we would want to see significantly more if we're going to be expecting a move up from it. So I'd say this isn't one that I'm keeping a close eye on here. Show over the charts. So RRD popped up at 7 o'clock. And I took a trade on this, going for, when it pulled back here, going up through $4. I took off a little bit of profit, but then I held coming down here. I was hoping for a move back up on one of these breaks, and then I ended up just getting shook out on the way down. So this is what I'm down on today, the RRD. ARLO popped up, earlier this morning. Popped up to $9.50 from $8. Has pulled back. Has essentially made no movement up since then. SLRX, same thing. Popped up earlier this morning, much earlier this morning. Closer to 5 o'clock. Pulled back and then popped up again closer to 7 o'clock and then just pulled back. So, it's the story of the week so far. It's similar to kind of what happened last week, where we have a few things coming up on news. News gets bought up, fairly quickly by whatever bots or people who are monitoring it very closely, and then within essentially 2 minutes of the news coming out, everything starts coming back down, and we don't see it go back up. So we're just gonna have to hope that we get some momentum on a couple of these stocks today, so that we can make a few good trades. Yeah, otherwise, we're just watching these things, and they're not looking that great. So, as far as like the market on the whole today, I think we're looking good. So the past 2 days have been kind of rough. Let's check it out. Actually, this window. Yeah, SPY tanked yesterday a little bit. Then made a recovery by the end of today, and by the end of the day, and ended about where it opened that day, which was good. I felt like some of this downward movement was kind of what was affecting the market in the last week or so. We're coming down from all-time highs right now, but since we made a recovery yesterday, going into the end of the day, I thought maybe we'd get some upward movement today, now that the entire market is doing well, but definitely does not seem to be the case. I haven't checked like any of the big stocks, but See how Tesla's doing today. Yeah, I mean even Tesla's going up. Tracked the S&P pretty close yesterday, where made a big dip back down to close to $600. But it's been moving up. I mean, it made up $100 yesterday, essentially coming into today. Um, so I'm hoping this positivity here at the end of the day, or throughout the day yesterday, will affect the lower float stocks that I'm trading today. It's really all we can hope for. Otherwise, it's going to be quite a dull day.
Any moves this morning yet?
What's up?
Any moves this morning yet?
I lost like $25.
With the bongos or on light speed?
No, yeah, on Lightspeed. What's going on, gentlemen? How's it going, man? I was just kind of saying that the market seems a little slow again this morning. Nice. Oh yeah, what were you buying into the open yesterday? Um, it wasn't CTIB, right? It was God, what was the other thing that I traded yesterday? Oh yeah, BBIG. There we go. It's analyze here. Yeah, God. So I mean, it just pulled back so much from its pre-market high here, coming into the open. So definitely not great. Uh, and what are you gonna do? Hopefully, you were paper trading that, and oh, playing Eve, hardcore, dude. I was always very scared of that game. Yeah, like I said though, hopefully that was a paper trade and not a real money trade, because it definitely is not looking good there. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was hoping today would kind of be like a turnaround momentum wise, because the entire market like tanked yesterday, but it recovered really nicely, and I was hoping that kind of make traders a little bit more positive today. See some momentum earlier in the morning. Yeah, SPY opened at 390, was down at 380 before the market even opened, or around when the market opened. This week's been rough. But yeah, the market tanked, and then I mean it recovered fully by the end of the day yesterday. So I was hoping, this dip and rebound would get some momentum back into the market. But I mean, this stuff's literally nothing's moving right now. So it's a rough time to be trading pre-market. I started streaming, whatever, like 2 weeks ago, and it was like the minute I started streaming, everything stopped moving. It's like stocks have been going crazy for like the last like 10 months. But it's just how it is. Gotta roll with it. Oh, I'm just hoping something pops up this morning. I assume we're probably not going to see anything start moving until 8 o'clock, though. Unfortunately. I'm also yeah, yeah. And you can start day trading, killing it. Yeah, a few of my boys from home have been trying to. It's just like the 3 day trades, like a week or whatever. Um, but it's very difficult. And then I know some people that have tried it with like cash accounts, but then it essentially turns into single digit day trades a week, because you have to let the cash settle for like 2 or 3 days afterwards. So it's really difficult. Yeah, I mean, like essentially, right? It's like day trading is essentially like a numbers game, right? You have a setup that works 70% of the time, and as long as you take that trade every single time, then you should break even eventually, or you should come out on top eventually. Yeah, if you just have three day trades a week, like you could just get unlucky 3 times, and then you just have to sit there for 5 days, and then it's just like it's the worst. Yeah, it's quite unfortunate. Oh, you know, it just popped up. NCTY coming up on absolutely no volume, but the stock has been going crazy lately. My friends from home said they had traded it. Well, not traded, I guess they bought it because I think a few weeks ago it was down at, yeah, look at this. Check this move out here on the daily. What is this? The beginning of January, it was at $8. It is now, or 2 days ago, it hit a high of 90. Absolutely insane. Um, I don't think this is one that, you know, would be super day tradable. Actually, I made a line. Just because, I mean, like the individual movement on every day is fairly small. I'd say compared to the big move that it made as a whole. I mean, like on these 2 days where it moved a ton, I could definitely see myself taking trades on that. But also, it seems like the pre-market volume is really low every single day. So you would need to trade this like into the open if you want to take trades on this. Um, I mean, it's up 25% since close of yesterday. Yesterday it crashed really hard, so this might be one to like keep an eye on coming into the open. Um, for this like rebound, went all the way down to $50 from the day before it was at 90. So, oh, is it crypto? Well, let's check it out. Yeah, it doesn't have any news recently here. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like it's had any like company specific news in a while. Signs, uh, signs an agreement for Filecoin mining machines. That was its catalyst, like whatever, like a week ago. So yeah, it's yeah, the news is not looking great at the moment, but I'd be willing to try to take a trade on it at open, just because I mean you could see the moves it made recently are just absolutely insane, and it made such a huge dip yesterday. It might try to reclaim some of this, back up to 90. So maybe I'll watch that at the open. Since I mean none of these low float stocks are making any moves right now. Quite unfortunate. Yeah, I was kind of talking about it yesterday, but I need to set up a scanner that looks for higher float stocks that are moving. Like right now I have it. Yeah, Bitcoin crashed pretty hard. What's Bitcoin at right now? But yeah, right now I have my scanner, so I'm pretty much only seeing things that have moved up over 25% or anything that's moved up more than 8% in 5 minutes. So it's like primarily focused on lower float stocks. Um, and it seems like they are not doing so hot at the moment. So I might write a scanner to look for like more established stocks, which like needs to have a certain market cap, and has um, traded a certain amount of volume in the morning. But look for significantly smaller moves. So like things that potentially moved even under 10%. Because if they're still making clear moves, like it'll still be fine to buy on them. Yeah, I just looked up the Bitcoin to USD, and it seems to have popped up a bit from the dip that it just made, but we'll see. I'm always kind of weary of of Bitcoin, just because it does make huge moves, but then it makes it pulls back hard. So in like 2017 or whatever, it went from like $2,000 to $20,000 in the span of like a week, and then it pulled back from $20,000 back down to like four, and then it stayed between $4,000 and $20,000 for like 3 years. And now it's like just breaking out of that range. It's just broke out of it in the last 2 months. So I'd be worried that after this breakout, the same thing would happen last time, where it's like there's like a frenzy, and then all of a sudden the price just drops back to what it was before, and then you gotta wait another 3 years to get your money back out at break even. Yeah, so trading at 50,000 right now. That is quite a lot. Yeah, we'll see. I know that there's like some talk of strange stuff going on in the crypto ecosystem, I guess, just because it's completely unregulated. A lot of the yeah. I definitely see that. Obviously Elon's been talking about it lately, but yeah, with like the unregulated stuff and like a lot of these altcoins, um, essentially just like printing more coins, so they're like making money out of nothing. And then they're using that money to then trade for Bitcoin. It's just like seems a little sketch. Palantir is going up here. What's going on, Carl? How you doing this morning? Yeah, so something like Palantir is one that is one of those ones where it's like I could just keep that continuously on watch because that does make some decent moves. Let's see here though. Got a lower float stock popping up here. Um, Coming up to $3. We got 30 million share float, so a little bit high. We'll see what it ends up doing here, and also fairly low volume on it so far. Um, we'll check out if this makes the break over $3. I have some lines here, so I think I've obviously looked at this one before. Um, Pushing up towards 3. Made the break through 3. Let's see if it holds it here. If it holds over 3. I'll take some shares on this for the move up. And then we'll look at it on the daily chart to see where there's resistance here. It's pulling back pretty hard from 3. The VWAP obviously very close right now. I do not like that 1 minute candle. That 1 minute candle is unfortunate. Made this nice break through 3 and then immediately pulled all of it back. And this is, story of the last week. Literally everything we've been seeing. It's just pops up, pulls back, pops up, pulls back. Every single stock we've looked at. Move back to PLTR here. So it's trading up at 28. Volume is pretty light. Highest volume candle is red, but also it's still stuck above this, like 2790 area. So we'll see if it holds up here, and if it pushes over 28, pushes up against 28 again. See what the level 2 has to say. Let's see, level 2 up. It doesn't look like there's a lot of shares sitting on 28. Yeah, I know that, and I know a few weeks ago it was up at like $45. So as like an investment, I maybe like it just because it seems like it's a pretty well established company. They're getting a lot of contracts. They obviously had the potential to move up to 45 in the first place. Yeah. Um, Yeah, it's holding 28 pretty good here. It looks like there's about 10,000 shares sitting on 28. So with this amount of volume, I don't know if we'll be able to break over it easily. Uh, yeah, I mean it's definitely day tradable. I mean, it's also makes pretty clear movements here and stays in a pretty tight range. Like when it's even when it's pulled back. So you could definitely take higher share size because it moves less volatile. So you don't have to be worried about getting caught in some huge dip. You only end up losing like 10 cents if it ends up turning against you. Yeah, we'll see if it I'll definitely keep PLTR on watch here. If it comes back up to this $28 level, then think about taking a trade on it. Yeah, you see, like this is like a huge dip. That just like happened really quick, and it's still only like 15 cents. So it's not something that's like ultra scary. If you're holding like 50 shares, 100 shares, you only end up losing like $10. So you can be more confident in these moves up because it seems like a fairly popular stock that people are interested in buying. So getting closer to 8 o'clock here. Um, see if anything starts popping up a little bit. Um, as of right now, though, pretty much everything we've looked at this morning has pulled back significantly. So we'll look at these charts here. So yeah, PLTR looking decent on the 5 minute. If it comes back up towards 28, I'll buy going into the 28 with an expectation for it to move up. Let's see on the 5 minute what we got here. So 28 seems to be a uh, pretty well used level here. It kind of bounced off of it a few times here. That's kind of why we're seeing some pretty good resistance on it. But if we move up past 28, it looks like 28.75 is the next place that we're going to see any form of resistance, at least in the near term. In the recent history, that's what we've seen. Um, so Ecor, yeah, like I was saying, Ecor just popped up but then pulled back. We were looking at RRD this morning. On the 5 minute here, made a good move up to 414 and then pulled back the entire thing, pretty much without stopping on the way down. ARLO, similar thing. It's just all the same story, different stock here. Just minutes of good movement and then immediate pullbacks. PLTR is coming back up here to 28. I might take a few shares coming into this. We'll see. We'll see what it looks like when it pushes up against 28. See if people start buying in, because we're still, extremely light volume. This big spike happened on 35,000 shares of volume, and then the rebound back up towards 28 happened on maybe 10,000 shares. Oh, very light volume. It's a good time as any. Check out the scanners, guys. Links in the bio. OliveGuardians.com. If you click on the menu, it'll pop up all of the different scanners that we could look at. You can look at low float, medium float, high float stocks if you want to look at a specific float for trading. Otherwise, I usually watch anything that's moved above 25% today, and then the movers, which is anything that's moved up more than 8% in the last 5 minutes. So it'll tell you things that are being actively traded, and it'll give you like the stats about it. So if you see something that's popped up and the float isn't quite right for you or the price isn't quite right for you, you can just skip it. But at least you have it telling you when people seem to be trading things. And if you guys have any like criteria for scanners that you want me to add or whatever, let me know. So I can add them in. But yeah, or if you like think it should look a certain way, or there's any quality of life improvements that you guys think of, just let me know. No, I don't use the Thinkorswim scanners. I had trouble. I know I tried them a while ago, but I had trouble with the Thinkorswim scanners working pre-market. Um, they definitely did not work the way that I wanted them to. I don't know if they really worked at all. Um, but for the scanners that I have up on Olive Guardians, I am using the Thinkorswim API to scrape, or like the TD API to scrape down all of the. I have like all of the tickers that are listed on Nasdaq, and then NYSE, and maybe one other one. Um, so it just like scrapes down the current like price for all of them, and then I just like wrote all the logic for the scanning stuff, and then I pull all the other information like float, short float, all of that stuff from Yahoo Finance. And the Yahoo Finance numbers I only update once a week, and also the tickers I only like the listed tickers I only update like once a week. So it is possible that like in the middle of the week there could be an IPO or something, and I don't have that ticker on the scanner. So sorry if that does happen, and you really wanted to look at it. But yeah, so I usually just update all of the information like that stuff on Sundays before the market opens on Monday. And the float and the short float percent. So it's like the float is like wildly different depending on where you get it from. So Yahoo Finance could be wrong about some of this stuff. Um, so take it all with like a grain of salt. But generally, if the float is lower, like in the 1 million to 10 million range, most likely it's not too far off. Like you'll see it maybe like some places will say like 8 million, and another place will say like 12 million or something like that. You don't usually see something that's like super super far off. So, um, and every once in a while you'll see something with a low flow that's trading like it's trading like it has 100 million share float, and I don't know why that is. Maybe it's because it's like mostly algorithmic traders are trading the stock, and it's just kind of chopping back and forth on high volume, trying to make a few cents here, a few cents there. Um, but yeah. All right, coming into 8 o'clock. See what 8 o'clock brings us. PLTR still sitting just below $28. Um, so looks like it's still poised to jump over that. We get this push up. God, MYT just popped up. MYT super low volume. Um, this is kind of the one thing I need to figure out. So right now with my scanners, I check for just like total volume on the day to determine whether or not there's enough volume. And I keep it kind of low just so that I don't miss anything that's like popping up right when it's popping up and it still does have low volume. But I don't have a good way of getting like volume in the last 5 minutes or something like that. So I need to figure out how to do that from the TD API. So we don't get this type of thing where it essentially had no volume and it still popped up on the scanners. So just kind of gotta ignore that one. All right, so 5 seconds to 8 o'clock. Hopefully we'll see something pop up on news here. Or maybe we'll see PLTR get bought up a little bit when institutional traders start coming in. 8 o'clock. First 15 seconds. I don't see anything popping up on the scanners really. So yeah, not really too much happening here. Got a few more things that are coming back onto the scanners that have moved back above 25%, but they're not moving quickly, and they've already put in a high of day that's higher, so it's not something we'd be super interested in watching. Like GSAT just popped back up, but it's a very low. Um, have unusual volume on the last XX bar. Oh, on their scanners. I don't know if that's something that I can query from my side though. Um, what is SYPR? All right, let's see here. SYPR. I'm gonna take a few shares on this, pushing up through 368. So I only gotten 25 shares. So if we push up towards $4, I'll buy a few more shares on the break over $4 here. But kind of gotta be careful because, like I said, we've seen a lot of these things that are pushing up and then immediately pull back. So if it drops back down to $3.40, I'm out of this. You always gotta take the shot if you see something moving up, especially when we've had almost no momentum in the last few days. So you're not sure which one that people are gonna jump on when it starts moving up. We got ONTX popping up on the scanner too, but popping up on high volume, but it's a lower priced stock. It's only $1.70 right now. SYPR, fortunately, looks like it is having the same fate as every other stock we've seen in the last few days. We'll see if give it a chance here. If it comes down to 340, then we'll sell it. Otherwise, wait for this move back up towards $4. And ONTX also popped up a little bit, but it's kind of just sitting around. It's sitting around its high right now. We're not really doing too much. But SYPR, signs of life. Signs of life. We're coming back up here. See if it push up towards $4. Yeah, pushing up towards 4. I like this. So we'll see. I'm gonna buy a few more shares coming up into $4 here, and I'll take a few off. So we're looking good right now. Hopefully, so this is what I was hoping for, is that at some point something will jump up and traders will jump on it because there hasn't been much momentum recently. So hopefully this is the one. We'll look for some continuation here. Right now our bailout is still, fairly low. It would have to drop below $4 for us to be jumping out of this. Otherwise, we want to look for this move up. Get the daily chart up on my other window here. So it had a high of $3.90 last week, which I think is its all-time high. So we are above the all-time high. Yeah, so we're above all-time high, so there should be theoretically no resistance now coming up here. If we make this, so we just broke over 450. If we continue to push over 450 here, we'll buy a few more shares on the way up. Otherwise, when it comes down here, VWAP's at 4, so 4 would probably be the place for it to hold if we were going to take a dip here. If it drops below 425, I'll take off a few more shares. Hopefully this candle can rally here and close green in the next 15 seconds. And then hoping for continuation above 450. Alright. We'll see what this next candle does. If it goes red, I'll sell off a few more shares on the way down through 425. Kinda doesn't know what it wants to do here. Yeah, so. Alright. So sold a few more down there. Still got 10 shares. And I'll hold these down through $4. Ideally, we'd want this to pop back up through 440, and on the way up through 440, we'll take another trade on it. So maybe our luck has turned around a little bit today. Um, this looks pretty good. You know, we had this first move, we had the second continuation, which we haven't really seen in the last week, which is really nice. We had the green candle on slightly lower volume and slightly less of a move, and then this red candle here was on even lower volume, which is good to see. So as long as this holds above 4 here, I think we're looking really good. The 5-minute looks solid. Um, so yeah, obviously the last 5-minute candle was high of 457, same as the pre-market high. And then the high of this current 5-minute candle is 434. So if we push up above that, that'll be the place to add. Otherwise, we're just sitting with our 10 shares, and we need it to hold above $4. So if I was more confident in the market, I would have taken a dip trade off of $4 here. But since we've seen such low staying power, oh look at this, we're popping up. As we've seen such low staying power, I'm kind of hesitant to buy a dip right now. So I want to see strength before I buy here. So it just popped up over 430, which was our next buy point, but it did it very quickly. So if we push up over 440 here, we'll try to get some shares on the way up past 457, and then the push up to $5. Stock's still looking real good. And while we were looking at this, HOTH popped up, and ONTX came up a little bit. Both of them, made a little bit of a move, kind of pulled back a bit. All right, so this is pushing below $4 now. So we'll see if it can stay up here. If it seems like it's folding over at $4, though, we'll sell off our shares. Trend still looks good. This 1-minute candle breaking below $4 here would be bad. We want this to come back up. At least stay inside of this 1-minute red candle here. Zoom it in a little bit so you guys can see. Yeah, so it breaking down here is not good. So it is holding though. We'll see. I'm willing to give this a little bit more time here, just because I already took off 25 of my 35 shares up closer to the high of day. So we'll give this a minute here. We'll see what happens with it. If it breaks down again, then we'll sell off the shares we currently have. Yeah, my cost basis is 391 with the current shares, so that's probably my my sell-off point, break even. And we're pushing down to it. We're gonna break through it. Kind of have some fighting here between the buyers and the sellers. We'll see which one wins out. See some green orders start coming back into it. And up. And again, like, we just made a move down. Right, so now we just have our 1-minute candle just made its first 1-minute candle make a new high here. This could be a place to add if you're still holding a position, but like I said before, we've had too much weakness in the market in the last few days, so I'm not super interested in adding to the position when it's already coming down a bit, especially because we just broke up, and then the first 1-minute candle to make a new high ended below the last red candle, which is not really what you want to see. So, still just holding here. Now that we've put in our first, green candle here, it's moved up a little bit. Our full stop would be down at what our cost basis is currently. Oh, we push down to it, and we're gonna push through it. Yeah, if it folds over here, it's obviously not a good sign. We're kind of staying under VWAP at the moment, which is not what you want to see. Like um, if I thought it was going to be a little bit stronger, and I would have liked to have seen it on this 1 minute candle here break over and then hold above VWAP. Did not do that, so I don't have super high hopes it's going to make a move back up. But at least I'll hold my current position until we see a clear move in one direction or the other. So now that like you can see the candles are getting kind of like smaller and smaller in how much movement they've had. So the next move above above this green candle or below this red candle is probably going to be the move that determines what traders are going to do. So if we see it start folding here, I wouldn't be surprised if we see it drop fairly quickly down through 390. And it's pushing 391. A lot of red coming in, but someone's holding it up in 391 there. There seems to be quite a big sell or quite a big buyer there. You saw like tons of red volume coming into 391 and it didn't move below it, so level 2, what we got in the level 2 for this? Oh, we're pushing, yeah, okay. So we pushed below 391, so I don't want to get caught in this move down here when people start selling off, so you can see it just moves from, dip through 391 to 390, immediately dropped 10 cents to 380, and I got out before that. So, an okay trade. I couldn't get as many shares as I wanted on the way up when I was buying, so that's just the way it is with Thinkorswim. Unfortunately, there's no way to like set your buying for a threshold above the bid and ask, below the bid or above the ask. So you kind of just gotta take whatever shares they give you pre-market. And I tried to buy like 40 on the ask, and I only got filled 25. And then I bought another 10, breaking through $4. So we had like it's like a 70-cent move there, 80-cent move. I think we got out of the 35 shares, we made $11.50. So we got 35 cents of the move, which I think is all right, considering I didn't get filled nearly as much as I wanted to on this break up through 370, and then I had to buy some coming into 4. So decent first trade this morning. I'm hoping this will kind of get people a little bit more excited to trade the next stock that pops up. And yeah, like I said, Hoth has been come up a little bit, but it's just kind of been trading sideways. So I was keeping an eye on the scanner while we were in this trade, and it wasn't something that I was super interested in, so I didn't take a trade on it. So Cypress share, yeah, Cypress. They win defense contract for electronic modules for precision-guided anti-ship missile system. Seems like good news for them. How's PLTR looking? All right, so let's get SYPR. Keep it on the watch screen over on the right here. Let's see, PLTR. So I'm looking at the level 2. Don't have a clear idea of how much is sitting at 28 at the moment. SYPR is showing a little bit signs of life here on the 1 minute. I'd like to wait for a 5-minute setup on it. Yeah, PLTR dropping down a little bit again right now. Definitely keep an eye on it for it to break over 28 here. It did look like it broke over 28 for a second, but then came back down. So I'll keep PLTR on the watch on my charts over on the right here. So SYPR, 5-minute candle just ended, so it's putting in a new 5-minute candle. For the break over, $4, up to $4.06, which is the high of the last candle, is kind of uh, where we'd want to buy. We want to buy on the break over the last candle on the 5-minute chart. And if it pushes down here, then we'll drop it off the watch and be more focused on maybe PLTR if it starts moving up. Yeah, so level 2, depending on your level 2, I guess, what it shows is all the different exchanges, what their order book looks like, essentially. So if someone has a order for 100 shares on, say we're looking at SYPR, and there's 100 shares at 393 that people are willing to buy. So you'll see on the bid, which say the bid right now is 393, you'll see like NASDAQ, and then it'll say 1. So for each number on the level 2, you have to multiply that by 100, and that's how many shares are actually in the order book. So like as you're coming up towards like a big level, like Palantir, like as we were pushing towards 28, you could see like between all the exchanges, there was about 100 orders for 100 shares each, like between the exchanges. So if you're looking at 100, that means there's like 10,000 shares sitting on 28. So you'd have to buy over 10,000 shares, or someone or the combination of people would have to buy over 10,000 shares to actually move it above 28. Also, in the level 2, you don't actually get like the full picture because there can be hidden buyers and hidden sellers. So sometimes you'll be looking at the level 2 and you'll see buying into a level, so like in, say, Palantir into 28, and you'll see the exchange go down to like 1. So you'll see just like NYSE has 1 order on its books, and then you'll see someone buy 10,000 shares and it still won't move over that level. That's because there's a hidden seller at that level, and there's no way of knowing how much that person is willing to sell. Yeah, so you'll see that. You'll see like tons of buying into 28, and it'll say there's only 100 shares willing to be sold, but the price still isn't moving. So it's like you kind of need to sometimes be aware of that, because if you see like a ton of buying into a level and it's like not budging at all, it might be a good time to maybe take some profits, because once people realize there's a hidden seller sitting there, they'll start taking profits as well. Once they're like, oh god, it's not breaking over the level as quick as I wanted to. So yeah, it's definitely something to keep look out for. Also, on the flip side, if you're going long on something, it's something to look out for when you're selling into a level. So say SYPR, when it was coming into $4 and it was selling down into $4, if you see only like 1 share on the books, or like 100 shares on the books, and people are selling into $4 and it's not moving, that means someone is supporting the stock as like a hidden buyer. So if you see a hidden buyer supporting the stock, it might be a good time to buy a dip trade. But then again, you never know how many shares they're supporting it with, so it's kind of like risky. But it's just good things to keep an eye out for. And I don't love Thinkorswim's level 2. I feel like it's really, I don't know, really iffy. Yeah, it is kind of annoying that you would think that the stock market would be transparent in that respect, and it's just like they kind of do whatever they want. But yeah, I mean, you can also get the ability to do hidden shares, but you have to get you have to have a broker that is able to like direct routing to the exchanges. So like Thinkorswim wouldn't be able to do it, but it is possible for a retail trader to also have that ability. But sometimes it's good to have your shares visible, especially if you're like trading higher share size, because if people see that there is someone putting out big numbers, buying big numbers of shares, sometimes it like strengthens the stock because they know that they have support there, and it's a little bit less apparent when there's like a hidden buyer. SYPR moving sideways. So we had signs of life back here. Um, and this was a pretty nice place to take a trade. It made a really nice move. So obviously didn't catch this first move because only bots that are trading news would be able to catch the first leg of this here. Then we had a nice pullback, and then after the pullback on the break of this level, we pretty much immediately moved up 70 or 80 cents. So I think that is a like textbook great break of a 1 minute level there. Um, but yeah, we didn't get filled on the shares we wanted to on the way up. So that's kind of the problem. I bought here pushing up through 386, and then I got filled I think 25 shares. I held them when it went through this sideways move here. I was holding it down to 340. And then when it pushed up further, I got another 10 on the push through 4. But these moves happen so quick. It's hard to get the amount of shares that you want when you're buying them individually here. That's why PR popping up again. So a lot of volume just came in at 820 for some reason. We'll see if we get a little bit of a pullback here, if we get a move back up. So above 440, which is the first red minute candle the first red 5 minute candle that it put in here. We'll see if it makes a move up through 440 here. If it makes a move up through 440, I'll buy some shares with the expectation that we'll move up closer to 5. 1 minute, yeah. So I'll buy 25 shares here. See if we can get this move up through 440. Otherwise, I'll probably cut them pretty quick. Maybe if we push down through 420 here. Yeah. So it's still looking strong. Still looking real good. I would have liked to have seen some. Yeah, so we're gonna get some selling here. It looks like this 1 minute candle is turning around a little bit. So we push down through 420. I'll sell off some of these shares that I'm holding. I only got 25 right now, but it seems like we're turning around. We're pushing up through 440 here. The expectation, we're going to break over 457. So on the break over 457, maybe I'll take off 5 shares here. So it didn't hold that move. So it's pulling back a little bit. I don't love all that pressure at 455. It's pushing up against it and then immediately selling off. So we'll see if we can get this move back up. I'll probably take off a couple shares here in this 450 region, since it seems like it's having trouble holding it. And then if we fold over here down below 440, then I'll take off more shares. But if we push up, we're looking good. Yeah, so it's having trouble in this area. It seems like someone's trying to hold the stock down. Maybe short sellers are coming in thinking it's already extended. Probably a good bet, seeing as what we've seen this week on the whole. Yeah, so we're pushing down here. Take off a couple more shares. So now we're sitting, with 15 shares. Cost base is 437. If we push up here towards 5, as long as we start moving a little bit more sideways in this 75 to 85 area, I'd like to see, from there a move up towards $5. So I'd buy more in if we push up to this region. Yeah, and again, so I've took off some shares, before it really made a move down here because I got in so late. I ended up getting into 437, so ideally be keeping a closer eye on the stock, and as it pushed up through 4 here, that's a good place to buy since it was a break of the last 5 minute candle. But I missed that opportunity, so I'll be more careful because this week we haven't seen as much staying power, so I took off some profit, closer on the way up, so just so I had a little bit more wiggle room to hold it on the way down. We're looking good as long as it's staying above 440 here. I think 440 is the place to hold at the moment. The 5-minute chart is super extended. Last 5-minute candle was massive, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get quite the pullback coming up here. Take off another 5 shares up here since we made pretty solid move from where we were before. And like I said on the 5-minute chart, so if we look at the 5-minute, this last move was huge. So we're a little extended from here, I would say. So it's better to be safe. And then when we get this break up through 480, towards $5, then we can buy more shares in. This is kind of what I was saying. I would expect there to be a little bit of a pullback here. I think it should be able to hold at least probably half the move from this green candle. We want it to still be strong, and I think if it holds above 440, then that's really good. So SYPR, the saving stock for this morning, seems to be doing pretty good at the moment. Oh yeah. Sorry, Carl, I didn't see the message before. CCIV. I know my friends were talking about this the other day. I thought it had pulled back pretty significantly from the high. Yeah, so CCIV pulled. It was up at $65. In one day, it hit a low of 30. Pulled back half of, like, literally 50% of its value. So I think now is like a good time probably for like a rebound trade on it, because I would assume it'll at least pop up a little bit from that low that it made. Um, so I could definitely see this being a decent trade today. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back up a little bit. That's why PR, I mean, holding this level really well here. On this break up through 80 here, take 10 more shares with the expectation for it to pop up, through $5 here. Since it's looking fairly strong. Want to see some more volume coming in. 8:30, it's coming into 8:30 right now. You want to kind of be careful when you hit these like 30, these 30 minutes intervals, because the 30-minute candle can kind of be like an indicator of what's going to happen, and it could happen very quickly. So we could be pushing up, and then all of a sudden at 8:30 it'll start dropping, and it'll drop hard. So if we break over $5 here, we'll take some profit on the 10 shares that we bought coming into it here. We bought another 10 shares, in the lower 480 region, sitting at a cost basis of 459 right now. So I tried to take off a few shares when it did that break over 5, but it happened too quickly. I took off 5 shares, but I only got filled at 497. So. Oh yeah, CCIV. Are you still up on CCIV even after the 50% dip the other day? Oh yeah, well, you said you traded for the past 2 weeks, so that makes sense. That thing was making moves. NCTY as well, similar thing, where it's making huge moves. All right, so we're pushing up over 5 again here. I'd like to see it hold above 5. So take off another, 5 shares. God, I didn't get filled again. over $5 here. So, we had 20 shares coming into 5. I took off another 10. So now we're holding this 10. And its cost basis of 481 because that's where I bought the last 10 shares. I usually like it when it averages your shares and keeps the average, so you kind of know, like where you're average at. Since I've been buying since 437 now, so. Oh, EV hype stocks, yeah, dude. I feel like the EV has just been insane this last year, absolutely insane. So we're pulling back a little bit from $5 here, not wholly unexpected. If we put in a second red candle, I'll probably sell off my position, and then I'll buy back in when we back up to $5. Because my cost basis is kind of high right now from these last shares that I bought. So we just pushed lower on this 1 minute. We'll see if it holds above 480. If it holds above 480, I'm still looking good with these shares that I'm holding. 1 minute, a little extended, not crazy though. And like I said, this is kind of the time to be a little bit more careful, just because the way the market's been lately, and also we just hit 830, and kind of like these, at least these 5 minute candles on 30-minute intervals kind of set the tone, seemingly, for what's going to happen over the next 30 minutes. You see that pretty frequently. It's not always the case, but it's a pretty good indicator. Oh, okay, so I'm gonna. A couple other stocks just popped up here. POAI, pulling back a little bit. ZKIN. ZKIN, very low volume, so yeah, we'll keep both of those on watch. But we're still moving here. SYPR, a lot of strength in this stock, so it's good to see after such weakness in the market in the last week. But now we're turning around, as I say. As long as it holds above 480, we're still in it. Otherwise, I'll sell off my 10 shares, and then we'll get back in as it pushes back up on like a 5 minute setup. So we're pushing down through 480 here. Is it going to hold? Seems to be holding. Yeah, yeah, CCIV, I could see it popping up again today. We'll see. That and yeah, Palantir. I'll think about taking a trade on the open. All right, so it kind of folded below 80 here. So sell off my 10 shares that I was holding, and I think at this point I'll probably wait for a 5 minute setup. Because it is a little bit overextended. This 5 minute candle ends in a minute and a half, and it's looking pretty red right now. So I would be surprised if it immediately makes a rebound move. Otherwise, I'll wait for a 5 minute setup over $5.08. It's the level to beat now. And essentially everything has fallen off the scanners. So if you look at the scanners right now for above 25%, the only things on it are SYPR and RRD. And RRD has been pulling back. So SYPR is the one for everyone to watch right now. So that means, yeah, there's definitely going to be the most eyes on this stock. It's been strong when, the rest of the low float market's been fairly weak recently. Definitely good increased volume coming in after 820 here. Red candles have been on lower volume than the big green candles, so it's all what you want to see at the moment. God, it is pushing back up through 5 here. So I am totally out at the moment, and it is making a new pre-market high here. I was thinking that I was probably going to have to wait for a new 5 minute setup, so I didn't take a trade on this coming up through 5. We look at the charts over here. This 5 minute chart, putting in two big green candles, and then this third green candle has a monster tail on it. So I would be more comfortable if we made, at least one red 5 minute candle here. Look for a little bit of a pullback, and then buy going over the level on a new 5 minute candle. Otherwise, I think at this point it's just too risky that I'm gonna buy going into the high. and it's going to make a small move and then pull back. So the risk is just not worth it for me at the moment, especially because we've seen now these two bounces where we have this first, in the 1 minute here, we have this first bounce here, little red candle, immediate move above. Then we have another little bounce here. And both of them did not make huge moves, I say, as it continues going higher. So I'd want this to level out a little bit, make a little bit of a pullback, and then I'll get back in it. But this last green candle is, highest volume candle of the day so far. So maybe I'm just way off here. And the momentum cannot be stopped. But we'll give it a second. We'll give it a second and we'll see what happens here. God, dude, this thing it's just moving straight up. Yeah, I mean, I do need to wait for a setup. If I had more confidence in the stock, I probably would have bought on the way up here through the breakthrough $5 on this 1 minute. But this week has just been kind of and last week in general has just been rough, where every single stock that we've seen has made moves up, lots of false breakouts. So we see at least one false breakout here on the minute. So I'm kind of being more careful, and I want to see better setups here. So I need to see a dip here. I need to see this trade sideways for at least a little bit before I'm going to be willing to take a trade on this. Or else I feel as though the risk is too high, where I'm just going to buy going into this level, and it's going to drop 20 cents, with a upside of 5 or 10 cents here. It's pushing. It's another 1 minute candle just pushing straight up here. Really great volume on the last few 1 minute candles. Really, really, really good volume. On the 5 minute. Looking P extended right now. Massive tail on this candle, so tons of people are buying up the dips. But yeah, we're just very extended on the 5 minute. Let's see what happens with this 1 minute candle. Will it continue on the move up to $6 here? So you can see here, I mean, bigger volume on this big green minute green 1 minute candle. High volume on these, but the range on these candles is getting increasingly smaller. So I would expect a pullback. And we see here, increasing red volume. Not as high volume as these other ones, but the majority of the volume in this candle is red. So we'll see now when we get this pullback, and maybe we'll get a second, red candle here. We'll see how the stock's being bought up. If it seems to be getting bought up strongly again, kind of like this one here. So seeing these big wicks on the bottom here, these big tails, it means that people are like really, really, really willing to buy up dips on this. And like I said before, we could see it on this 5 minute chart. This 5 minute candle, had a from its high, had a 50-cent dip, immediately got bought back up. So, what you want to see. So now we want to see decreasing volume on these red candles coming down. Maybe a move closer to VWAP, down towards $5. And then we can buy it on the way back up. But this thing hasn't really been giving us a chance to dip here. It's immediately getting bought up. Idiot. Alright. Alright, so we got volume coming into it. Looking nice and green. Maybe if we get a little bit dip down here into the 560s, I'll buy on the bid here for the expectation for it to move up through the 70. I kind of don't want to I don't really want to buy here, but it's just it's being so strong that I feel like I don't want to miss the move. So try to buy on the bid here. Um, just 10 shares, just so we have something going into it. It doesn't look like our order got filled on the bid there, so it didn't dip hard enough. Maybe we'll try buying on the dip here. 70. Alright, so coming into 70, bought some. We'll hold this down to, 540. Otherwise, we want to see the move up through 580 here, and we're looking really strong, so it's the only reason I bought a few shares here, just so we can be in this move if it starts making a move. And if it looks like it's going really, really well, and it's making the move up through $6, then maybe we'll buy some more shares in the 90s up through $6 here. I'm also going to be pretty quick on the break through $6, trying to take profits off if we get a break through $6, since we are now so overextended. I don't want to leave money on the table here and get a hard pullback. So we're pushing up here. I have 594 so far. See what this next candle does. Ideally, we'd get this break straight through $6. So I want to see green volume coming into this candle, pushing up through 594. Maybe buy a few shares here. 595 on the push up. Break through 6. So just tap 6. Alright. I only got 5 shares sold on the push up through 6. And yeah, unfortunately, hoping to get like 10 shares out there, but see what happens if we make another push through 6 here. And if we drop through 590 here, I'll probably take off some more shares. All right. Okay, so still looking good. I took off some more shares just because, like I said, we're super overextended at the moment. So I'd be worried about having a pretty big drop. I'm still holding 5 shares, so I'm still in it at least a tiny bit. Up, $25 on the day on this stock so far. So, looking good. And we're still moving up. This thing is unstoppable. Damn. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about this morning, where I was saying that since we've had a kind of like a slow period coming into this, um, I was hoping we'd see a stock, pop up and everyone would jump on it, just because it's been a while since we've seen much momentum, and like as soon as we got a little bit momentum going, everyone else will hop on. So, pulling back here, getting bought up. If it drops below $6, I'll probably sell the shares I have right now. If we push up through 632, I feel like I have to buy more shares just because it's so strong at the moment, even though it's so overextended. And we're coming into 8:45, so see what happens here. 20 seconds to the close of this 5-minute candle. This will be our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth green candle in a row. So this is the time maybe to yeah. So I'll take off these shares here. This is the time where I would be concerned that we'll see like a red candle get put in here on the 1 minute, and we'll get a pretty big dip since we've seen so many 5-minute green candles in a row. Like I said, if it's pushing up, gotta buy more, right? So it just broke over 620 here, which is the you know, 1 minute candle to make a new high. We're pushing up towards 632. See if I can buy some on the bid here if it dips back down. So bought 10 shares at 627. We'll see if we push back up here to 50. Otherwise, I'll pull them off at 620 if it drops below. So yeah, it dropped below already. So keeping a tight stop on these ones, just because I'm more concerned about a drop like this. So we just put in this 1 minute candle with a high of 634. False breakout up to the pre-market high. So you might see a little bit of selling off now. Yeah, so it just goes to show. I mean, sometimes I think that something is overextended, and you think that something surely could not go up anymore, and you're just completely wrong. So you kind of have to make sure you're following the technicals on these more than you're following your emotions, which I kind of messed up on this morning. I didn't take big enough share size. I sold off. But this is the first stock in the last 4 days that's been moving up, so I will forgive myself for this. But the next stock that pops up and seems strong, if it is today or if it's tomorrow, I'll be more aggressive on it, buying shares and holding them. Now that we've seen a little bit more momentum come back into the market. So yeah, 1 minute candles kind of trying to hold this $6 level again. I would be surprised if this 5 minute candle does not close red. But although I would be surprised, if it continues going up, I will buy more. Just because this thing has seemed very strong. So the one indicator that maybe we should be a little bit more careful now is this candle had a very big green wick here. So it pushed up, broke through the high of day, and then pulled all the way back below this 1 minute candle. And it did it on the highest volume so far of the day. So that is definitely, that's not a good sign. That you have the highest volume candle on a candle that sold off. But we're pushing back up here. So the one nice thing about TD is because obviously you have no commissions. Like if I buy a few shares here, pushing up through 610, I can keep a really tight stop on them, and even if I hit break even, I could take it off and I don't have to worry about like dollar commission on each trade or whatever. So that is one nice thing about Thinkorswim here. So if we get another false break on this 1 minute, that's not going to be a good sign. I would expect it to pull back more if we do get a false breakout on this 1 minute candle. But if we close above, then that's good. And then if we push back up towards 625, I'll buy some shares with the expectation of it to move over that 634 high of day. A few other things kind of moving up from earlier today, but not moving up with any appreciable amount of volume or speed. So SYPR is still definitely the one to watch. This is the best stock we've seen in the last 4 days as far as movement. So looking real good. And we're coming into 9 o'clock. So maybe as we come into 9 o'clock, maybe we'll see some more volume come in, and we'll see this break through the pre-market high. What we don't want to see is selling off coming into 9 o'clock. Selling off coming into 9 o'clock might be an indicator that this is done moving. But it's holding, it's holding above 575. It's holding this level really nicely. So I'm going to take some shares, moving up through $6 here. since it's been holding so tightly above 485 here. So I'll put my stop at 485. Um, and yeah, hold for this move up on this new 5-minute candle. And we'll see if it breaks down through 485 here, then we might get a nice little 5-minute pullback, which is good for us. So see if it holds. And we're breaking through a little bit. Is it going to break down further? We see it break down through 485. All right. So it is bouncing still off 485. So now it's tapped, that 485 area 3 times. So usually if it taps a level of support multiple times, that means the more support it has at that level. So it would be nice to see this turn around and start making a move back up towards the high of day here. Still pretty extended on the 5-minute. The 1-minute has been, consolidating for a little bit, so it's not nearly as extended anymore. I wouldn't be super surprised if we have to wait for a 5-minute setup. We'll see how this closes here. So we're dropping through. I'm gonna take the shares off, and maybe wait for a 5-minute setup here. Yeah, so I was just taking that trade because I saw a level of support, a nice level of support. It seemed to be holding it pretty well. So take some shares, see if we can get a move off of that level of support back up to the high of day. As far as 5-minute candles, the high of this 5-minute candle is 607, I believe. Yeah, 607. But it's so if we see it pop over that, that means the 5-minute candle's looking pretty good. So it just moved over it to 615, 618. The high of the last 5-minute candle is 634. So want to see a move or coming up into that here. So see, buy a few shares on the bid here as it comes lower, with an expectation of this move up through 634. So it's pushing up, pushing up, pushing up. Just hit 633. Like the move through 634 here. Otherwise, our stop is still going to be probably closer to that $6 area. 607 probably is going to be our stop on this. So we like it to stay above here. Breaking through the high day, really nice. Broke through the high day, but it only broke through it by 2 cents. So maybe a time to be careful, but we're still breaking through here. Looking good. We'd like to see this push up through 650 if possible. Still have a minute left on this 5-minute candle, so still looking fine there. As long as this 5-minute candle holds above 630, 634. So yeah, we need this 5-minute candle to close above 634. And if it doesn't close above 644 or 634, we need the next 5-minute candle to, make a move up pretty quickly and not, fold over on us. So we'll see what happens here. So it's pushing below 634, but people are buying it up. 15 seconds on this candle. We'll see if it makes the push up to 650. If it breaks through 650 here, that'd be really, really, really good. Got 10 seconds on the candle. 634 is that level we're looking to hold. And yeah, we held up. So now we need this 5-minute candle to push through here 650 pretty quickly. 625 is probably the place we want this 1 minute to hold. It would have been nice if we had gotten a immediate move higher up towards up through 650. But yeah, you can see now that like at least the momentum seems to have settled down a little bit. This last break, we went from 634 to 648, so not huge move on the break here. And it also didn't have really a proper 5-minute setup. But I feel like we have to be in this at least a little bit. We're coming into 9 o'clock. We might see some volume coming in, so, got to be in the trade here. Still, as long as it's holding above, like the 607, 608 region, we're still looking pretty good. Yeah, I'd like to see it break through 650 here pretty quick. Whoop. Ooh. Getting a little choppy here. Just spiked from 650 down to 628, and then immediately bought back up to 650 by someone. Like a pretty big order, so getting a bit of resistance at 650 here. We'll see how the 1-minute candles hold up. It might be that we need to wait for a 5-minute pullback now. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this next 1-minute candle. And yeah, like I said, we're coming into 9. 3 minutes until 9 o'clock. Then maybe we'll see some increasing volume coming in. Besides SYPR, I mean, still nothing really moving too much. Kind of keeping an eye on the scanners and my charts I have up over here, and I don't really see anything making moves at the moment. Check out some of the higher floats. PLTR seems to be pulling back. It was at that 28 level, bounced off it like 4 times, and now it's pulled back to below 27, so not looking great. Got our 1-minute candle folding over here, but it still looks strong. Yeah, like I said, I'd like it to hold. I'd like it to hold above 608. And I'm just gonna hold down to probably 6 right now because I want to see what happens at 9 o'clock with the shares that I got. And if at 9 o'clock it starts pushing and we get a push through 650, then I'll buy more shares coming up through 650. So we got a minute and a half till 9. CCIV, CCIV is like not moving right now. I have a feeling that's going to be one to watch, like on the open. Same thing with Palantir, or Palantir, or however you pronounce it. So this kind of gives me, SYPR gives me some hope for the rest of the week. Monday and Tuesday were really, really slow. And the stocks that did move were making very, very small moves. So this gives me some hope that we could potentially see some more momentum coming into the second half of this week. We got 45 seconds to 9. So that's why PR kind of good that it's evening out a little bit here. We had 6 green candles in a row, and then we put in a red candle. We just had another nice green candle. So putting in this second red candle here is kind of good to see, so that it's not as overextended. But we'd like to see this next 9 o'clock candle here up. So we're selling off. We'll see what happens at the beginning of this 9 o'clock candle, but if it's not holding above 6 here, then I'm gonna bail out. So yeah, 5 seconds to the next 5-minute candle. We'll see if it gets bought up at all, or it's gonna kind of stay where it is. So we'd like to see increasing volume here. Ideally, we'd like to see increasing green volume, but yeah, we seem to be We seem to be pushing down through 6 here. If we push down through 6, then I'm gonna sell off my shares. Otherwise, I'll give this a chance to pop back up. Yeah, pushing pretty hard into 6 there. Low of the last red candle was this 596, so if we push down below 6 again, I'm definitely going to sell off my shares. Otherwise, we'll just hold it. We'll see if we give it the opportunity to come back up to 650 here. First 1 minute candle at 9 o'clock. Volume isn't spectacular, but it at least closed green, holding above this 607, 608 level. Like to see it move back up here, and then on the push through 640, add some more shares on. Otherwise, if it breaks down below 6, we'll sell it off. Yeah, decent morning so far. Decent morning. Hopefully tomorrow there will be more of the same. Even if this folds over right now, we're still looking alright. And yeah, just something for me to work on, definitely, is like, when it was coming up earlier, it was kind of one of those things where I was like, surely it could not come up anymore. So tomorrow, if we see strength, buy into it. Be a little bit more aggressive than we were today, now that we've seen that these stocks have started moving again. Still holding above $6 here. Tapped off 6 3 times now. So if it pushes down to 6 now, I would imagine that it will probably break through. So getting prepared to sell off these shares on the way down. Nothing else really popping up. I was hoping for maybe something would come up with news at 9 o'clock, but unfortunately, did not see that happen. We're pushing down towards 6 again. Break down. Yeah, so I sold off my shares. If it makes a move back up, so this 5 minute candle, we got a minute and a half until the close on the 5 minute. Is it 616? So that's kind of the level right now. If we push back up towards 616, and we break through it, then I'll buy with the expectation for the move up to the pre-market high. Otherwise, I'm out right now. Let's look through some of these other stocks that we were looking at today while we're waiting for something to happen. RID, popped up pretty nice. Pretty much gone straight down for the rest of the morning. ARLO, same story, very light volume. SLRX, same thing. So this is like the model of what we've seen in the last week. And I suspected SYPR was going to be similar, but it kind of surprised all of us. Had some staying power, really nice strength on the way up. Palantir, like I said, was pushing into this 28 level, really knocking against it a bunch of times. Briefly broke through it, but then immediately pulled back, so you see it's already back down to below 27. Not something I'd be willing to trade. I'd check it out into the open, maybe see if it makes a move there, since it has a lot of room to run back up to the $45 that it was at last week. And then SYPR here. And SYPR, as I was not looking at it, came up through 616. So now the high of this 5 minute candle is the high of this last 1 minute candle. 29. We'll see if we can get a dip here, and maybe I'll buy some shares. But now it's popped up a little bit too much for me to be feel comfortable buying into 650 here, but breaking through 650, popped to the 654. 4 cent break, pulling back but holding in the high 40s, which is really nice. So it's still looking good there, definitely. But yeah, a lot of these breaks that we've seen somewhat recently, popped from 634 up to 649. Now it's 649 up to 659. We'll see if this one has staying power here. Yeah, I said thinkorswim, like at the bell, you could hit the buy button and it won't fill your order for like a full minute. It's like almost impossible to trade it at the open with thinkorswim. Yeah, so we missed this move here. Got shaken out by this drop through 6, but it held it very very well, and I sold out close to the bottom here as it broke through 6. So missing out on this big move here. So this is kind of what I was hoping for it to do, coming in straight into 9 o'clock, but really for the first 3 or 4 minutes at 9, it just sold off. And then we had this really nice green candle here with really high volume. So missed out, missed out while I was looking at other stocks. Feels bad, man. What happens. And I think the thing to do when you miss out on your opportunity to buy at a certain level is you got to wait for a setup. Like you can't just it's like going up. It's gone up well today, but I can't just expect it to continue moving like after it puts in two nice green candles like that. So just gotta wait for a setup here. Um, I would say this red candle here is a little bit of a false breakout on the 1 minute. So I would like to wait for a 5 minute setup if possible. Because we've had quite a few, 1 minute false breakouts here. So 1 minute false breakout, and then we have some kind of a little bit of sideways consolidation here for a little while. Another 1 minute false breakout, and then we had quite, a big dip here. So we had this third 1 minute false breakout in a row on highs. So I would kind of be, a little bit more on the safe side and wait for a decent 5 minute setup. Because after we've seen these last 1 minute false breakouts, there's always been a period of like sideways consolidation or dips afterwards. Not to say that that's going to happen forever, because this seems to be going up again. But I would be more careful and wait for a decent setup. Yeah, it's just popping up right now. So we'll see what it looks like coming into $7 here. Volume on this candle is fairly good, a little less than the volume on this red candle here. So you can see that this green candle had like really nice green volume. So so far, it looks like the stock is still still very strong. I would have liked to have waited for a 5 minute setup on this to take a trade on it, but it just seems to be going off without me here. We'll see if I can't find somewhere to take a trade on this. Yeah, on the 5 minute, 5 minutes still looking pretty good. Looking not bad. Yeah, now I'd be and it's hard to take these 1 minute breakouts because now we're so close to the whole dollar level. If we break above 686 and it rejects off 7, then I have a a potential upside of 10, 15 cents, and we can reject down quite a bit since it's been moving up pretty strongly all day. It's like up over 100% today. See what this ends up doing. So here, it's like this like traditional bull flag on the 1 minute chart. So it's like bull flag, breakout. We'll see what happens with this one here. But definitely, nice decreasing volume on these red candles. See if this breaks above 680 here on this next 1 minute candle in 15 seconds when it starts up. And I'll take the trade with, smaller share size as it pushes up through 680. If we get the push up through 680, with the expectation of it going up through $7. So, pushing up, kind of got filled, weak fill there as it pushed up through. I got filled at 680. I was hoping to get filled, 675 closer, somewhere down there. And then, so we'll hold down to 660 with the expectation for it to push up here. As long as this 1 minute candle holds above 680, we're looking good. Otherwise, it's another 1 minute false breakout, and then we should kind of be a little bit safe, probably shed some shares if it doesn't hold up. Pushing up to 680 again, so it's definitely meeting some resistance here at 680. Got 5 seconds before this candle closes. Close up above it, so we closed up above 680, which is nice. We'll see if it pulls back here, if it continues upwards. Yeah, so we're definitely getting a lot of selling here. Yeah, pushing down towards 660 here. So this is like kind of like the thing to always be worried about. So once we've made such good moves upwards here, at some point it's going to turn around and it's not going to make a breakout anymore. So we'll see if it holds above 660 here. If it holds above 660, we're still looking good. It's still like the move up to 7. Candle closing in 5 seconds. Candle breaks below this red candle. It's definitely not a good sign. You want to see it make a move back up here. But, really light volume on these candles, which is what you want to see. So we'd like to see the next high volume candle, be green. If we see higher volume coming in and it's red, it's not a good sign. And it's looking like we're getting another low volume candle here. We'll see if that holds true. If this is a low volume candle, maybe the next time we break over the next 1 minute candle, we'll make a move back up. And we're getting close to 9:30 here, so this might be people, taking profit. So if we see it start breaking below 660, we gotta bail out here before we, lose all of our money. So pushing 660, see if we can spot back up. Alright, so take off at least a few shares. We'll see if it holds down below 660. Previously I got shaken out because it dropped below level and then immediately got bought back up. So we'll see if that happens again. But take off a few shares just, safety wise. Does seem to be holding below 660 though, so I would say we're not getting that we're not getting the buying that we did last time on the way up here. Alright, so I'm out. I'm up almost $10 on the day. I think that's probably the last trade I'll take on it before the open here. Just because I don't usually like trading in like the 10 minutes before the open because people are taking profits and, and as I say this, it comes back up to where we wanted it to be. A few other stocks popping up at the moment. SYPR thing just came right back up. Similar thing, man. I just got shaken out down here. Yeah, so I have to kind of maybe adjust my levels to make it so I'm getting out maybe a little bit lower than I would have thought here. I really wanted it to hold 660 for this 1 minute break, but it dropped down to 650. Still was holding above the 640 area, which was quite a ways down, so it wasn't where I was willing to let it drop down to. And popped back up to 691, and now it's selling off a little bit back down. Um, Again, this might be profit taking. We've been on like a green tear on the way up, so I wouldn't be surprised if going into the open people are trying to sell off a little bit. I mean, it's still looking really good. Still looking really, really good. So yeah, I'm not gonna take another trade before the open. So yeah, everyone, thanks for watching the stream today. I have the scanners running all day, so if you want to check them out while you're trading or whatever, do so, definitely. If you have any feedback for me, drop me a message. Let me know if you want to see any specific criteria or anything. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be here tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see some more momentum like we did today. So, have a great day, guys. Gentlemen, thanks for coming to the stream, man.